Hey everybody, welcome to International Association of Woodcarvers. Today, we will be talking about the structure of the mouth. And in doing so, we'll also discuss a little bit about the structures, the anatomy, how to carve it in basswood, as well as a little bit about the online school that I started, which kind of goes more in depth on all of the features here on the International Association of Woodcarvers. Let's do it.
Good.
Nice. You even got the International Association of Woodcarvers right this time.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. This is the International Association of Woodcarvers. A little bit after 3 p.m. on the 11th of February, and I want to thank you all for joining us. For those of you who came in the room before the meeting, I apologize for all the nonsense. I do know that Bob Hershey is excited about the Eagles playing in the Super Bowl this weekend. So make sure everyone tunes in and watches the Eagles win. So that we can all congratulate Bob Hershey. Having said all that, I want to tell you a little bit about what we've got coming up with the International Association of Woodcarvers. This week we got Alec LaCasse on. He's going to be doing a little demonstration for us and talking to us about his new school, which is called the Fundamentals of Woodcarving. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Next week we're going to have on Betty Padden. Betty's done a lot of articles with Wood Carving Illustrated. She's a great carver, caricature carver, and Betty will be coming in for the first time with us. On the 25th of February, we got Dan Gallagher that's going to be coming back. He did a golf ball carving demonstration for us way back in the beginning when we first started these meetings. So we're going to have Dan back on. On March the 4th, we're going to have Jared Wood in. Jared's going to do a full caricature demonstration for us, so he'll be coming in. On the 11th, we're going to have Bruce Ankeny, and I saw Bruce in the room here today. Bruce is going to be coming on doing a demonstration for us as well. So tune in for that one. On the 18th of March, Tim Perry, who's a member of Dave Levy's carving club, he's going to be coming in and doing a talk about his carving journey and hopefully doing a demonstration. And then recently on, I think it was Thursday or Friday this week, I heard from Raymond Kinman. He's going to be coming in on March the 25th. He's a Disney woodcarver, and I don't know if you all are familiar with his work, but he does a lot of carvings for Disney World, and he's agreed to come in and do a demonstration, talk to us a little bit about his carving journey. So we got quite the lineup going through March. I'll be signing people up hopefully in the near future, starting for April forward. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in coming on and doing a demonstration with us, tell them to reach out to me and I'll make sure and get them on the calendar. I want to remind everybody about some things that are coming up. Janet Cordell is going to have a class that's starting in April on the 24th. She's going to be carving an Old Faithful horse. Don't forget about Dwayne Gosnell's Whittle Wednesdays. If you're interested in carving with him or taking classes from him, he does classes, I think, twice a month on Wednesdays. You can go out on his website and find out what he has available there and sign up with him for those classes. I talked to Chris Hammock when I was down in Mexico, and he's going to continue to do online classes. So if you're interested in learning from Chris, you can reach out to him directly. And he's also going to be doing his barflies. So if you're interested in taking those classes, reach out to him. And then again, Alec's going to be talking about his wood carving, fundamentals of wood carving school. We'll be talking about that here in a few minutes. I want to remind everybody to go out and check out Wood Carving Academy. A lot of the workshops that have been held, especially in the last couple of years, have been posted out on Wood Carving Academy. So you can subscribe there 1 month, 3 months, or a year, and you can go out and go back through those classes instead of doing them live. You can take them on there. And then there's also some older videos that you can go out and check out. It's well worth the price. They do a great job with that website, so make sure you're checking out that. Remember Helvey Knives, which is on this side. They're a sponsor of ours. We're going to be doing a knife auction, and they have really helped us as far as continuing these meetings. We usually auction those knives that Rich sends so that we can continue this Zoom meeting subscription to continue to have these meetings. So anytime you hear from Rich or Holly or you get a chance to talk to them, thank them for the support on International Association of Woodcarvers. Also, Chipping Away, which is on this side, has been a sponsor of ours as well, and we'll be doing some giveaways with them hopefully in the near future. So having said all of that, again, today we have Alec LaCasse in. Alec has fundamentals of wood carving school that he's going to be talking about. He's offering us a special discount. So anybody that's hearing this, and I'm going to be advertising this, out on social media and stuff in the coming weeks, he's going to give us a 10% discount if you use code IAWC10. So that's International Association of Woodcarvers 10, IAWC 10. And that'll give you a 10% discount to his school. And again, we appreciate Alec offering that up to our members. So if you want to take advantage of that, hear what he has to offer today and go out and subscribe to that. I think you'll benefit greatly from the stuff that Alec has offered there. So having said all of that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. Alec, we appreciate you coming in today, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Blake. All right, I'm assuming I'm coming through. I can see myself, which is slightly unfortunate, but I'll deal. I've had to deal with it my whole life. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is what I'm working with in terms of wood. I guess I could introduce myself. How about that? I'm Alec. Hey, Richard Holden said I had to do a funny interview, but I forgot about it. I'm on about 2 shots of espresso right now, so my heart may explode, being that I haven't had caffeine in God knows how many years. A full cup of coffee. No, I had coffee probably 6 months ago, so I lied already. So, but I'm not used to it. I've been doing decaf. So, anyway, so forgive the whatever chaotic energy here. But yeah, as Blake said, this is going to be a project that is actually featured on the school, actually a similar project. But what I'm using here as far as wood goes is a 2x2 that I cut in half. This is a super kind of handy way of getting a wall hanging piece. So you can carve a lot of things in this, right? Everyone's seen that before. It's 5 inches tall, and I have it actually mounted to my fixture board here. And I might as well show you the tools while we're at it. So the tools that I'm using are as follows. It's possible I may introduce another tool because we've got a lot of options here, and who knows what happens, right? So be aware of that. But the first tool I have is 1 inch wide on number 4 by Stubai. So this is a fairly shallow curve tool. I've got a number 9. This is a 6mm, and I've got a knife here. The knife that I'm using, just to prove the point of cheap knives are not always bad knives. This is the Flex Cut detail skew knife, and I'm not an ambassador of them at all, so don't think I'm trying to sell you. This is a great knife for the money. One that I'm still testing out, still in testing phases here, is the Beavercraft 1.5 inch detail knife. This is great as well. But without further ado, today's project is going to be a carving of a mouth. And so the idea here is to, anyone having trouble with speaker view? Okay, all right. So this project is going to be focusing on kind of getting the shape, what is called the barrel of the mouth, talking about the chin as well, and just getting this lower situation fleshed out. We're going for kind of, I guess you consider it realism, although I would argue it's, it's stretched a little. Of course, it's not perfect realism, but getting the idea, learning the rules can help you to break the rules if you're, trying to go a more caricaturized route. You all know that from Dave Stetson. He's a great example of somebody who just really deeply understands the anatomy. There's a lot of folks out there, Ryan Olson, that understand the anatomy, so that's important. So I'll try not to go too hard on all the anatomical things because it's frankly pretty boring, and I've forgotten half of it now. But the bottom basic shape here is derived from the height between the forehead and the bottom of the nose. So if I double that over, that gives us the general kind of idea of the space that we need from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And so to start, I might shave a little bit from the bottom of this chin. I've got my number 4 and my mallet, and I might just trim it up just a little bit. Hey, I was just about to warn you, if it comes loose, it's because it's glued on. So typically I would screw into the back of this, but because I didn't want to risk carving into it, it's such a shallow piece of wood, I did glue it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and re-glue it back, only because I don't really need to do a lot of pounding on this piece. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue, we'll go heavier on the glue. How about that? So this is actually, in some ways, I'm kind of glad this happened because you can see here, this is a really handy way. Obviously, don't be pounding on it severely, but this is a really handy way to mount your piece to a fixture board, and it does pop off. Hopefully not while you're carving it, but this is one way in which I do this. Obviously, these pre-drill holes are for the screw method of attaching it to my fixture board, which while this is quickly drying, I'll explain what this is. So I've got what is this? I'm going to guess 4 inches by about 2 feet, this fixture board. Let me get a little distance on there so you can see. This is spring clamped to a 2x6 that I have mounted to the wall via a 2x4 stack. So there's 1 2x4 here, 3 down here, if you can see that. And this is kind of a nice working easel. I can move the piece up and down as much as I please. So I like to use this when I'm doing relief carving. But mind you, this project could be done with a handheld situation as well. So anyway, I digress. I'm not going to be whacking on this piece anymore. We know that's not ideal, although now that I've got a better glue up, it probably will stay in place. All right. So when considering the outline of the chin, what I'm considering here, the outline, I want to make sure that this kind of dental arch, this whole area in here is fairly square. So in other words, I'm not going to turn the chin too quickly upwards, creating a pointed chin. I'm going to try and keep this relatively slight, the curve as it comes up. And then it might get a little bit more dramatic past this kind of curve of the dental mound right here. So, and there's a lot to be said for all these other substructures and muscles going on the chin and the jaw and all that, but obviously we won't really have time to get into all of that. All right, so first of all, what I love about carving in the corner here of the basswood is it automatically gives you a nice kind of dimension to the piece that you don't get when you're carving onto a flat thing. So it's a great teaching tool for those of you who are kind of starting out. So I'm just taking the corner off of this piece. I'm going to try and move the camera around as I go here so you can see what exactly is going on. All right. So I'm just taking the corner off. And first thing I want to talk about is breaking this into thirds. So from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, if we kind of roughly divide this up, we could of course get our measuring ruler out or whatever and divide it up exactly. But I'm going to try to just approximate breaking this up into thirds. We got 1, 2, 3, there we go. And the reason I'm doing that is these lines are very helpful. So this first line bisects the first and second third. This line is going to tell us the separation of the upper and lower lip. This line's going to tell us the turn of the chin, the separating line from the lower lip to the chin, the mentolabial fold there. So that being said, let's go ahead and cut those in. Now, typically, I'm not using a knife for this, but again, I wanted to show you that this is a great tool for it. You don't have to have anything too fancy. So I'm going to come in by creating a V-cut. So I'm coming in probably, 1/4 of an inch to start, right on that first separation between the first and second third. Okay, so I'm going to try and get a angle shot here so you can see what I'm doing from that side view. All right. Maybe that'll help us a little bit too. All right, so I'm just splitting that mound, coming across. Like I said, about 1/4 of an inch or so, like that. And a couple of considerations that, probably are not going to be, there's not enough time to really go into the whole thing. But when you're starting to do this, you want to make sure that the upper and lower lip in relationship to each other, at least stereotypically, are not at the exact same plane. So typically the upper lip is going to stick out just a little bit more. And again, anytime you get a rule like this going, you're going to see that that varies from person to person. You might find that a person has a lower lip that sticks out. For instance, my grandpa. So, all right, so we got that separation in. And next, I'm going to come down and I'll create another V-cut at this bottom separating line between the first and second third. Can you tell I'm not left-handed? So I'm coming in, again, a V-cut. And if I did that properly, should fall right out. Coming across here, about a 1/4 inch of depth. Okay, like so. So we got two kind of grooves there. All right, so the next thing I want to do is think a little bit about how far we want to take this line out, this little groove. So typically, we'd like to think about it in relationship to the eyes. So the rule goes that the eyes, of course, are about an eye's width apart from each other. And of course, you've got about an eye's width at each eye, of course, then a half eye's width at the edges out to the temples. So if we just kind of impose that on this piece of wood, if we were to draw the center of the eye, so here's our eye just as a reference guide, right? Of course, we don't need to worry about making the drawing nice or symmetrical, perfectly symmetrical. Halfway between those eyes down is typically going to give us a solid rule for how wide the lips should be, right? So this is kind of like a throwback to your high school art class if you had to do a portrait in class, but it's going to tell me where to go with this. So I'm carrying that out. Okay, brings us to the oral commissure, which is a small indentation at the outside corners of the mouth that create a little dish shape. So I've got my 6mm 9 here, and I'm just creating a little indication, a little dish out at the outside corner. Just coming in, dishing it out. This is super, super important because this sets the lips into the dental arch, into the mound of the mouth, as opposed to just sitting on top of it. And this is probably the most messed up feature on the human face. When I see my students carve mouths, probably the biggest thing they miss is not setting the lips in the face. They actually end up putting the lips onto the surface of the face, right? And this little cut, the oral commissure, makes this properly set. So it's a good thing. So don't miss that. So next I'm going to take my knife and get you a little profile shot so you can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. Let's lower this a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to take material from above this upper lip and just sort of pare it down, kind of round it out a bit. And actually, you'll see that I'm coming into the oral commissure, trying to use the knife with a little bit of a scooping action to define the kind of mound of the mouth into the nasolabial fold, or the smile line, this line right here that comes from the line of the nostril flare on down, right? So I'm carving to that line. Again, there's a lot here going on that we're not discussing because we're focusing on the mouth, but we'd be here all day if it weren't for that. So I'm just shaping the mouth. Like so. Okay, so now I'm focusing on the upper lip, which is kind of 3 muscles. One here, longer one here, and a longer one here, right? And so I'm going to emphasize that this central muscle here, let me shift back so you can see clearly. There we go. Is going to be a little bit lower than these two. So in other words, I'm actually going to cut into the lip here to expose that just a bit. That lower, the center kind of ball, if you will. So you can see I'm taking a little bit of a scoop out of either side of that ball that we've kind of lost here. All right. So a lot of times when you're starting out and shaping these, they end up looking pretty voluptuous. And of course, I should say the type of lips that we're doing here are an adult, maybe say middle-aged male's lip. So if we left these too full, it might end up looking very feminine. But hey, there's all types of faces, so it's all good. So now I'm taking the knife and I'm going to start to take the material from this second V-cut rather, this one that was right here. And I'm going to blend the transition that we just made from the first separation down into this one right at the lip. So defining the lower lip and creating the separation between the chin and the lower lip. So just about a 1/4 inch of material here I'm leaving, angling inward, and then coming on the other side of that, cutting down.
Hey, Alec, can I ask a quick question?
Totally.
Hey, when you're setting up a face like some of your beautiful cottonwood bark faces with full mustaches, do you still go through this process of setting up the lip structure?
Well, that was a very nicely phrased question. I like how you complimented me at the beginning. In fact, can we make that a new rule? If anyone asks me a question, is it all right if you just throw in maybe 2 or 3 compliments at the beginning of it? Is that okay? Any response to that? No? Okay. All right, bad joke. Got it.
Should
yeah,
I tell them the rate that you
go.
pay for a compliment?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I told you not to descriptively, but that's fine. You know, I told you to keep that between you and I, but you know, I guess if anyway, yeah, that's a good question. And I do kind of think about that a little bit when I'm, for instance, if you're trying to figure out where the lower lip is, if you're just showing the lower lip atop the mustache, you still need to know where it is. So yeah, it's a good thing to do really quickly. Just go, okay, so divide this into thirds, mouth's going to be here. All right, set the separation there. It's also going to affect how the hair flows over the mounds as well. So not always, but depends on how much detail you're setting in to the beard. A lot of times it's a good idea to at least intuit or think about. Thanks for that. It's a good question. I appreciate it. Okay, so now I'm just sort of shaping the chin, kind of rounding it out a little bit. Again, you see lately in my videos, there's an increased use, especially on the tube, a lot of use of the knife. And the primary reason for this is not that the knife is my favorite tool in the world. I just as well rather be using a straight blade chisel or a skew. Love the skew. But the reason is it's just readily available. It's cheap. Most people already have one. And it's nice to show people how to use the tools that they have to do the techniques that I'm showing them. So I hope that makes sense. So anyway, so I can come back in the lip area here. Hopefully everyone can see that clearly. I'm going to carve off these pencil marks first of all, because that's making it confusing. And you can see got a little bit of a dip in the center here. So what that means is, let me move my camera so I have room, is the knife will actually come down a little bit right at the center point. All right, so I'm doing a little bit of a turn. So notice how the tool is turning upward as I move it through the wood. And these scoop cuts are a little bit difficult if you're not used to them, if you're used to making straight cuts. So these are good things to practice knife skills if you're not familiar with them. Many of you probably are. All right, so I'm just coming in and I'm really cleaning up the separation between the upper and the lower lip with that knife, really solidifying that shape. And what we're looking for is really sort of a almost like wings of a bird. So we've got this turn to the center part, and it comes over and sometimes up again. Right, so this is kind of the separation between the upper and lower lip. Of course, you've got your upper lip and your lower lip. Okay. So I'm going for that shape with this this separating cut here that I'm doing, taking a little chunk out. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Hey, Alec, I wanted to check with you. You said something about you were drinking coffee earlier. Was that Forever Green coffee?
Yeah, baby. Shout him out. My buddy.
Was that Hudson's Business, Forever Green?
It is. And It is, in fact, and Blake brings it up because right before we got on, I was chatting with him about my my good buddy who's starting a coffee service for events, weddings, corporate, and he does an amazing job. And we were testing out his coffee. I was helping him with some media stuff and just trying to, show him some things that I know, at least whatever that is. But yeah, and I got buzzed on coffee, so recommend his coffee though. It's an amazing service, and Forever Grain, if you search that, it'll come up. We'll post his website somewhere for you to see. But Hudson is he's such a great dude and a great person to have. I have him at my carving collectors party.
Hey, we did have a question in the chat. What size block did you begin with on this carving?
Yep, it's a 2x2 by 5 that I cut in half. So again, if you didn't see the beginning, here's that block. It's kind of hard to see. See that? 2x2 by 5. Again, cut in half diagonally. And
question, but I had a question, but I don't have a compliment to lead into it.
how this sounds like Dave. Was it Dave? No, it wasn't, was it? Go ahead, please. As long as it's not a really mean insult about how I look. I guess you can do that too if it's entertaining. All right, so making some good progress here, about 30 minutes into the video. So at this point, there's some refining things that we can do. Talk about the philtrum. I'm gonna take my 9, the 6mm 9, and cut straight in at the center, like so. Cutting up into the turn of the nose. And that's gonna give us what many people unfortunately call the snot trough. Ugh. I've had that drilled in my brain by so many people over my life, and it's pretty unfortunate. Anyway, we get the philtrum there, and yeah, you can see we have a really kind of exaggerated upper lip. I call these kind of like the wings of the upper lip because they kind of come out like so. And I'm going to reduce those just a little bit, is my point in bringing that up, because it look a little too tall for the type of lip that I'm going for. Somebody commented a question. Can anyone read that for me while I'm...
Yeah, Selena asked, do you always start your carving with the nose?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, actually, usually I do. And my theory behind that is that I start with what sticks out the furthest. And I don't know if you've seen my face, but whoa, it's very obvious what sticks out the furthest, right? So I start with the nose. So it's important to kind of prioritize the things that stick out the furthest in my mind.
Hey, Alec, you also mentioned about your videos. Can you talk a little bit about your YouTube channels that you have available?
Yeah, absolutely. Channels, yeah, plural now. So Doug and I started a podcast a while back, and I'm running it now, the Coffee and Carving Show. You can check that out. But my personal channel is where I put most of my time, kind of giving tasters and teasers of what I have available on the school, as well as like full-length instructional videos. So that's just my name. That's Alec LaCasse. My last name is LaCasse, and my first name is Alec. So if you want to check out some free stuff there. I also have, like I mentioned before, a discount for those of you who want to check out the school. That's IAWC 10. Obviously, I don't need to be a broken record there. Blake will talk about it, I guess, if he wants to. But so right now I'm actually creating another dip, interestingly enough, in the lower lip. So these two kind of segments, talked about 3 circles here, essentially, right? An elongated one on either side. There's 2 down here. Can you tell my coffee intake based on my drawings? Yeah, so I want to take a little bit of material. Notice the angle of my knife. I'm coming down like so, and taking a little bit out from this silhouette. So it comes up and then down. Let's get a little bit closer so you can see. There we go. See if my light will stay. Yep. So I took a little indentation out of here. All right. And I'll also take the knife and take a little scoop out of here as well to receive that lower lip. All right. Very good. So I might even take the knife and do a little bit of a scooping cut to accentuate the lower lip and create a little bit dramatic of a turn, like so. So notice the scooping. Okay. All right, so it's at this point I'm going to actually start to bring down and kind of pay attention to the profile. So I'm going to grab our profile here and make sure that we're on track and actually adjust this tripod. Excuse the shaking. There you go. Is that clear? Yeah, it looks pretty good. So again, talked about how the upper lip will typically sit out a little further than the lower lip. So I'm going to take the lower lip down just a little bit at this angle, at this this turn into the center part here. Just reduce it.
So Alec, what all is available on your fundamentals of wood carving school? What can people find there?
Okay, yeah. So the school, that's separate from the YouTube. That is a online service that I put probably the majority of my teaching time into, at least a good part of it. Now with YouTube, I've put an increasing amount into that and promotion of it. But I do a service where I provide between 1 and 3 videos. I guarantee one. Usually it's like 3 projects a month there. And that's a monthly fee, or you can pay yearly for it as well. So, and so there's right now, yeah, 70 something videos, all projects oriented surrounding the human face mostly. There's a few other things there, but I had a new project. There's also an interactive forum as well that you get access to, where I give you feedback on your projects if you need help. I draw, actually do a illustration on your piece once you send a picture of it. Tell you what I would do, and of course you bear in mind that's just my opinion. So okay, so you can see now. Another thing to note here, you should be able to see the lip from the side profile. A sure sign that your lips are too flat is if you can't see the lips from the side view. So should be a good amount of material there. Okay, so we're nearing completion here, at least in this little demo. While I'm tuning things up, folks can feel free to ask anything if they want to. Get in the water. Okay. Okay. Let me just erase these pencil marks. It's a little bit chaotic here. I'm going to take a little bit more out of this line. So notice the knife is flat, like almost parallel to the mouth mound here. So there's no turn. It's like almost flat against it, just turning up a little bit. Okay.
Alec,
So
has
a
a
couple
question in the chat said, are you teaching any live events this year?
You know, I have a couple. I'm doing some quarterly, so that makes 3 more workshops left, and I don't have the list with me, but I will post about those as well. So I do a couple of live streams usually. In this case, I'll be doing 3 more this year. So
Then another question.
Mike Nolan, can I ask a question?
oh,
Go ahead,
Mike
Mike.
Nolan. Mike Nolan. Yeah, absolutely.
You've heard of me. I've seen a lot of carvers do mouths and a number of them say that you have to tuck the lower lip under the upper lip. But I notice on yours, on the left, as I'm looking at it, there's more of a dimple like in the corner of the mouth, and that seems more natural. Is there is that coming close to what you want to achieve there, or do you tuck it
Sorry.
in too?
Oh, you mean out in here, this corner?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So
On the left, as I'm looking at it, his right,
Uh-huh.
that it looks like a little dimpled part there where the lips come together, and that seems
Okay.
rather natural. Where the I've seen some where the lower lip goes so far under the upper lip that they look really unnatural. So what do you think is the correct?
Oh, okay. I think now I'm understanding what you're saying. He's talking about the lips meeting at the outside edges.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Thanks. Good comment there. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want to over exaggerate the overhang of the upper lip to the lower lip. That's why the commissure is an important step, because it actually pushes the lower and upper lip into the inside, into the corner, right? So that's why I start with the 6mm 9 or whatever. This is probably a 1/4 inch and whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to try and convert it. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, it is important to start there. That way you set both the upper and the lower lip into this indentation, this dimple. But then also you're coming in with a knife and removing just a touch more from the bottom as to get the upper lip slightly overhanging the lower lip. So yeah, great. That's a great observation. I appreciate you pointing it out.
Thank you.
Hey, Alec, another question in the chat. Is there a different setup if you want to show teeth on the carving instead of just the lips?
Oh, teeth. Yeah. Well, it depends. If he's smiling, a lot of things change, right? You have a change in the width of the exposed corners of the mouth. So these little corners will spread out if he's smiling, right? It'll push the cheeks up. It'll increase the drama of the mid-face groove, the smile lines, of course, right? Smile lines, duh. And a lot of things change on the face when the mouth smiles. But another thing, if you want to bare teeth, is you might have an open mouth, in which case, yeah, obviously you're going to extend the chin, right? Because as your chin opens, it moves downward. So there's some other factors there if you're considering exposing the teeth. Typically, if you're exposing the teeth, it's out of anger or happiness, and it's a result of the corners of the mouth being pulled laterally or outward. So that's where you get the changes in proportion from side to side. Yep. So I'm just really doing some fine tuning here. Bonus tip. I don't know if anyone wants a bonus tip, but some people's lips have a very subtle indentation that follows the literally the outside edge of the red part of the lip. I'm sure there's a name for that. All you surgeons out there, doctors probably know it, but maybe nurses, but I don't remember it. But this part here, what I'm drawing on, sort of gives it like a lip liner look. Not every lip has this, but you can actually take your 6mm number 9 and very gently, I know this is kind of hairline detail here, but so don't be angry at me if it's not, I don't know if you think I'm overcomplicating things, but yeah, so just coming around that outline creates a little indentation on the lip. And that is a feature of a lot of people. My dad's lips, for instance, he has a defined kind of indentation right at the base of his lip here, and that it sets the lips off nicely. So like so, and of course, can clean that up with a knife in just a moment because it looks a little rough right now.
So I know when you do cottonwood bark carvings, you usually sand. Would you sand on something when you're doing basswood carving?
Guys, I I'm serious. I think I'm changing a lot in the way that I think about carving through making these basswood carvings and just in general doing the hardwood carvings, birch and everything. I like the look. For years I used sandpaper throughout the process of carving, right? Much to the demise of my some of my wood carving viewers who say, you're dulling your tools, which is true. I am, but it's just a part of my process. So a lot of stropping was necessary. Anyway, I'm more tool finish friendly than I've ever been. In fact, I almost prefer the look of a tool finish now. So what I like the best though is a little contrast between both knife and sandpaper. So say for a carving that I'm doing a suit jacket on, or something along those lines, I'll leave a hand tooled finish on the suit jacket, and then I'll very lightly sand the face. But the difference now is I don't sand away all the little facets. I'm just really gently going over it to kind of blend the surfaces, unify the color, make it look more skin-like. But I like to leave some of that evidence of the handmade nature of the carving behind. So that's a great question.
Alec, we got another question in the chat that I want to ask to you.
Sure.
So this one is kind of take it in 10th. This was from a female, not from me.
Uh-huh.
So Alec, I know a lot of carvers and you are the best looking one. I guess there's a compliment for you. Have you ever carved your own face?
Wait, this is from who?
Blake maybe asked this. Let me get the person's name. Hang on. Let me.
This is Blake. I was gonna say this is.
No, it's not Blake.
This is
Monica.
Dave Stetson.
No, Monica Bloomquist. Monica, if I mispronounced your name, I'm sorry.
You
I'm
got a
pretty
pretty
sure-
mouth, boy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure this is a plant from Dave Stetson taunting me, and I'm not going to answer this. Yeah, this seems like a plant. I don't think I'll touch this with a 10-foot pole. No, I mean, I have like used myself as a model before, and I think just doing that a couple of times was enough for me to kind of never want to do it again. So,
Did you burn those carvings when you were done?
gosh, honestly, I'm pretty sure I gave them away. Yeah, I didn't want to look at them anymore. So there's that. But I appreciate that. If that wasn't from Dave, that's a nice compliment.
So do you keep the tool marks on your cottonwood bark carvings as well? Or is this more now that you've gone on to the manly basswood?
What did I tell you, Richard? Compliment first, okay? I'm sorry.
I'm glad that you moved on to the manly basswood. How's that?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I forgot you teasing me at Doan for carving in cottonwood bark. Yes. I do see the light now. I do really like the other woods as much as bark. But yeah, your question was, I still do a lot of hand tooling on the bark now. It's just a better finish. If you can, I think it's nice. But again, I look for the contrast. So I may sand the face lightly, and then leave some part of it hand tooled. That's my thought, at least.
And just to give you some clarification, that question before was not having anything to do with Dave Stetson. The lady was actually genuinely asking that question, so she wanted to know.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. That just that made me feel very good. So I'm just, you guys got me talking about sandpaper, but I guess I'll show you, when I do sand, this is how I do it. So I'm using a 220 now, as opposed to something more aggressive. And notice I'm folding it up and I'm just barely any pressure, very little pressure. So taking away, because you don't really have like really sharp edges on the face a whole lot. So that's kind of why I do tend to soften the edges with a knife, and maybe I will go over it with a touch with sandpaper, but I'm nowhere near as sand happy as I was in the past. So there you go.
So someone's asking about the forehead. Will you shape the forehead or leave it as it is? on something like this?
Wow, that'd be quite a forehead, wouldn't it? You could chop wood with that forehead. Man, can you imagine getting a headbutt by this guy? No, I have absolutely a full intention of doing that. This piece is actually an example piece, as I mentioned, for kind of breaking down individual features, video by video, just an effort to focus on them a little bit more. And we're actually going to go through different ethnicities, because we all know that there's a lot of variance and from race to race, and there's a lot of good stuff there to be discussed. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, I don't want to bore anyone. I'm pretty much there. If there are any other questions, you can feel free, but got a pretty decent idea of what to do here. When you're done with your demo, can you show us some of your completed carvings or works in progress in your shop? Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, I can show you just briefly. I don't want to bore anyone, but I'll show you around the shop for just a minute.
And Alec, can they reach out to you if somebody's interested in buying something from you? Can they contact you directly, or do they have to go through a shop or somewhere else to buy something?
Yeah. Yeah, my bodyguard, my wife, usually.
Right.
Usually, yeah. I mean, folks can get a hold of me through my website, my email, which is Alec LaCasse, ALEC I'm sorry, Alec at ALEC@AlecLaCasse.com. So I'm gonna take a sip of water again, then we can do a little tour. Okay, I don't have a lot going on in terms of things on the actual shelf for wood. I'm working on some clay right now. So any other questions here before we move on?
Hey, Alec, I just wanted to make a comment and get your response, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a newfound interest or just a refound interest that you're showing in doing the smaller caricature type carvings. You seem very excited about and the pleasure it was giving you to do the Doug Linker type caricatures, and I appreciate you sharing your versions on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you.
I love your mouse. It was a great mouse.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very good. Okay, so I'll show you around. Was there a question in there that I missed? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, all right. All right, so how messy I am. Look at all these wood pieces. All right, so this is one I started a few months ago, or maybe, I don't know, 3 months ago. Haven't worked on it a whole lot, but there's supposed to be some symbolism here. It's called the Temptation. This is going to be a dove, probably 30 or 40% smaller. Apple blossom up here to represent the apple from the Temptation. Of course, a snake weaving through her hair. You can kind of see it. Some apple leaves falling. So that's going to be kind of cool when I find the copious free time to finish it. But anyway, so that's one kind of fun thing. Another thing I'm working on is it kind of in progress. This is actually wood. I don't know if you can tell, but this is solid wood, and I carved this. No, this is someone is commissioning me to do a carving of a deer. So I'm doing a clay mock-up that's under here right now in a bag. I would take it out for you, but that would require that I take a minute to take it apart. So this is kind of a clay piece I've been working on for the past 2 nights. Do you like it? What do you think? Anyway, so the commission, just really shortly, I'll tell you, is from a hunter who sent in his dream buck, and they accidentally ruined in the treatment process of creating his mount. They ruined it, and he wants me to recreate these beautiful antlers on a hand-carved full-size European mount. So that's the plan for the next week or so. So I'm kind of tidying up in the shop as far as getting videos done for the school and YouTube, and spending the next week working on this. So yeah, so there's the shop tour, bandsaw over here, some show storage and teaching materials here, lots of wood here, Unfinished projects, finished projects up here on the shelf. There's the lake. That's Cranberry Lake. That's where I edit, make videos. I'm a very tidy person. Obviously, you can tell it's very clean. I get to play guitar and plan things out. So that's that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like little whittle things like what were mentioned before that I'm throwing up on YouTube. Most of them a giveaway, but there's a few here. Some on the school as well. That torso. I don't know if you can see it, but that's going to be live on the school here shortly. So
how many or how much wood chips and shavings do you have from your bandsaw in the part of your guitars, the sound hole?
I haven't actually done anything to measure that, but I'm guessing a fair amount. Yeah.
Does it help with the resonation and make the guitar play better?
It probably makes my wife happy. It makes it quieter. So kind of dead.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's a good thought, though. I think I know who's saying that, by the way.
Hey, somebody wants to know if you carve birch dry or green.
Oh, both. Yeah, birch is nice. I mean, it's a lot better green. It's a lot better green, but personally, I like to carve it both ways. So, yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So any other questions in the chat? Let's see. Any full body whittles in the wood carving school, like 6 to 8 inches tall?
No, that's something that I want to work on. In fact, I was talking to a friend last night about that, but I'm sort of learning, properly learning it. I try not to put stuff out there before I actually have any idea what I'm doing. So I'm learning right now. And a big part of that is actually clay. So thanks for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are coming up on an hour. Do we have any other questions from the audience for Alec today?
Thank you guys so much. Anything else?
So it's called Fundamentals of Wood Carving. Again, he's offered up a 10% discount to us. IAWC10 is the code to use to be able to get that 10% discount. I encourage you all to go out, check that out. Look at his videos on YouTube. Check out Carving, Coffee and Carving, I think is what it's called. Check out his own YouTube page. Alec, we look forward to seeing what you have to offer through this school. I know there's going to be some great things coming along. So everybody make sure you go out and check that out. Just want to remind you all, next week we'll have Betty Patton on. It'll be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us here next Saturday. Want to remind everybody about the CCA Carving the Rockies show that's coming up in September. I know it's a little early to start talking about that, but if you want to go out there, you probably need to go ahead and start thinking about making arrangements. I know some of the hotels and stuff are starting to get booked up. That's the weekend of September 23rd and 24th, 2023. The CCA has updated their website, so you can go out to their website and check out what all is going to be available at that show. Again, this will be the second show that they've had out there. I was at the one last year. We did a live broadcast. That video is out there on our YouTube page. Dave Stetson helped broadcast there, so make sure you go out and check that out if you're interested in going. You'll be able to see a whole lot of great caricature carvers and carvings out there, so make plans to be out there. Again, Alec, thanks for coming on today. Thank you all for joining us. This has been the International Association of Woodcarvers, where woodcarvers are helping woodcarvers every week through these videos. So again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all.
Thank
Great
you.
job, Alec.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to International Association of Wood Carving. I'm your demonstrator for the afternoon or evening, depending on your viewing time. And today we bring you a little demonstration about carving mouths. And we'll also be talking a little bit about the online school in which I teach about the realistic face and all that detail we'll talk about shortly. So tune in.
That was great, but we got to do another take.
We didn't get any guitar. Where was the guitar at?
I don't know. Stetson got me feeling like. Is that good enough? You get that?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, a little bit we got there. That's great. If that's what you want, we got it.
No, I'm just kidding. I can do more. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, do something better, man. That really sucked. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. All right, ready? Wait, but was the content right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Good content.
Okay. All right. So I'll just say something like that. All right, ready? Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. I can't.
That was for you, Dave Levy, since you're from Kentucky.
Oh man, I'm glad I have my mic muted.
Guys,
That was,
I'm-
pretty,
now
that was
you're-
pretty dorky, even for you, Alex.
I hate all of you guys. Have I said that recently?
That's the motivation for you. The hate drives you.
I'm just gonna be one day. I'm gonna carve Dave and Doug and all my friends.
You respect your elders.
What?
Right.
Respect your elders, young kid.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. All right, here we go. Take 405. Now you know what it's like trying to make a YouTube video with me, or any video for that matter. It takes me an hour. Okay.
I'm aware.
Wow.
All right, Doug. Be nice. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.